Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian, along with 7 others, have tragically lost their lives in a helicopter crash. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics releases the much-anticipated 2024 economic survey, shedding light on the country's economic performance and outlook. Residents of Sericho and Gubatu villages in Isiolo decried deteriorating road conditions after River Ewasonyiro overflows. Good afternoon and welcome to K24 Newscut on this Monday, the 20th of May. Now, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics has unveiled the highly anticipated 2024 Economic Survey report, revealing a significant milestone in the nation's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the report, Kenya has fully rebounded from the shocks of the pandemic, with economic growth in 2023 surging to 5.6%. This marks a notable improvement from the pre-pandemic growth rate of 5.1%. Speaking at the official launch of the report at the KICC, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndungu has underscored the importance of safeguarding this growth trajectory in the country as the surest path to eradicating poverty.
Human Development Report, breaking the gridlock. We need a collective action. In fact, in the morning, I was also saying, because I've come from another background of human capital capacity building, I was actually showing that we need strong growth. And that economic recovery, we have to protect it, because one of the major, perhaps, frontier ideas that we have developed in the last 5 years, especially in research, is to show that strong growth will actually reduce poverty significantly. That is consistent with what everybody used to say, pro-poor growth. But we want to make a difference. In our frontier work, we showed that it has to be, that strong growth has to be supported by targeted social protection to flatten inequality in the long run. Then it means that you can have sustainable growth. That is consistent with what we are saying, breaking the gridlock. And is now consistent with the conclusion that we made some 2 or so years back, that what we need is now pro-growth poverty reduction strategy. It's consistent with the new ideas that are coming up. So if that is the case, then it means that we have to look for ways and means of trying to ignite strong growth and to sustain that growth. And that is where economic recovery will become very, very strong, and it will be supporting us all through. I do recall someone somehow talking about these issues in different ways and different places. But we do know that even when negative shocks come in, they affect markets. But what has been more prevalent in markets that have failed and failed to ignite growth is actually an institutional failure problem. That, again, is not what is going to be shown in the statistics here, DG. It is something that we have to check and find out where did these results, how did these results come through. This morning I gave examples that when institutions fail, human capital development is required, because at the end of the day, it is the capacity of the human beings, that those who read critical institutions, that will give us that satisfaction. Markets will fail when leadership in those institutions don't work. Once markets collapse, then they ignite a whole downward spiral. I was giving examples in places, for example, where poverty has hit hard in this country is where Kenyans invested, but they cannot see the returns from them.
In a strong opposition to the Finance Bill 2024-2025, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers has voiced its concerns. CEO Anthony Mwangi stated that the previous bill for the last financial year has turned Kenya into an import-dependent country, negatively impacting the economy. Mwangi warns that the new bill will further exacerbate these economic challenges in the country.
We first focus on how we grow the economy. We haven't seen a lot of focus on how to grow the economy other than collection of taxes. While we acknowledge that we need to collect taxes, but the issue of first growing the economy so that then we can get more money from taxes is hashed. So from that perspective, we're making our intentions known in terms of our feedback. It is an extremely complex bill. What you've seen people saying is what is obvious, but as they say, the devil in the details. So there are quite a number of provisions that we think are going to make us, put us in a worse position than we were in 2023. Remember, there are some provisions that came in Finance Act 2023 that have actually made Kenya an importing country, even where we used to export. The products like steel, paper, we have almost destroyed those sectors. And again, we have seen a list growing on what we're calling export and promotion levy, export investment and promotion levy, which actually does not promote export, is just importing, taxing raw materials that are coming in. We think that is not useful. And I think it gets to a point that Kenya need to realize that we operate within EAC common market, we operate within COMESA, we operate within AFCFTA, we operate in a global economy, and all these fees and levies that we continue adding do very little to help Kenyan cause. And I don't think the policymakers have really, focused on looking at how we build competitiveness as a country. Yeah, thank you. We have given detailed recommendations to both the Minister of Industry. We have given detailed recommendations to Finance, Departmental Committee on Finance, and also National Treasury. We have actually gone on how fast do we make sure we are competitive. And we have gone sector by sector, sub-sector by sub-sector. And
residents of Sericho and Gubatu villages in Isiolo South constituency have been forced to pay 200 shillings to access milk from their livestock after the heavy rains in the upper region led Ewasonyiro River to break its banks, paralyzing movement and learning activities between the two villages that are 50 kilometers apart. Here's Bentura Komboka with the details.
Flash floods from the overflowing Ewasonyiro River have marooned hundreds of households in two villages in Isiolo County, making it harder for children to attend school and disrupting transport and business activities.
Hapa hii mfuriko, hii maji laga ya Ewasonyiro alituachilia. Anakuja direction. Tumefurikwa, tumemezwa hata.
The floods have submerged school pit latrines, raising concerns about the increased risk of waterborne diseases among residents.
Shule yetu ndio hii, naona vile hata choo yao yote naanguka. Ile nyekundu iko pale, yote ilienda. Hata uko nyumbani shida ni hiyo tu. Tuko tuna shida hii. Kutoka tangu siku hiyo, mpaka leo, tuko wa maji, iko umbu mingi. Hatuna hata neti hata moja. Maneti tunahitaji nyingi.
According to residents of Sericho village, the Sericho-Mogadashe road has become impassable since the flood hit the area. Locals are forced to navigate through the flood waters at K24 to transport goods between villages.
Watu wanatumia kamba kusafirisha watu hapa kwa hii mto. Na hata wale wanategemea mifugo yao. Mifugo ilitoroka wakati hii maji ilifurika, watu walianza kutoa mifugo yao. Na utumii siku hizi hata maziwa kupatikana ni ngumu kwa ajili ya hii barabara. Watoto shule pia wametabika hivyo. Msaada yote haipatikani kwa vile hii barabara imekatika.
Additionally, residents lament having to pay 200 shillings to access milk from their livestock on the other side of the river as the flooding has severed their residential areas from livestock bombers.
Mifugo yote iko pande hiyo ile kidogo imebaki. Maziwa ndio hii. Sasa wengine wanakuja na pande na wanavukisha pande. Sasa maziwa ambaye lita moja unapata kwa ng'ombe yako unafikishiwa tao na shilingi 200. Na kama wewe huna hiyo shilingi 200 huwezi pata hiyo maziwa.
The county and national government have been asked to move with speed and help construct a bridge at K24 to restore movement of people and goods between Sericho, Mogadashe and Habaswein.
Maji hii bado mambo vile iko ni hatari. Ugonjwa saa hii mwanamke akijifungua hospitali hawezi saidika mahali, hawezi fika mahali. Nafikiri mpaka ifanywe airlifting, hakuna mahali wanaweza okoa mtu kama inawezekana serikali ifanye kwa dharura hii bridge ya mali barabara imekatika, serikali iweke, county government pamoja na serikali wafanye juhudi hii bridge ikuwekwe.
Bentura Komboka, K24 Newscard.
Meanwhile, travel operations along Machakos Kangundo Road have grounded to a halt after KENHA moved in to repair a section of the road that was destroyed by heavy rains. Motorists plying the road have had to use alternative routes to pave way for the removal of a rock debris that had blocked the road. Youth who constantly earned a living at the famous Chamwilu Hills are now a worried lot after the rock destroyed their site. The area has been on KENHA's radar since after reports of potential landslides.
Mawe iliporomoka kutoka kwa ukuta ikakuja hadi kwa barabara, ikafunga barabara, ukapata hata kazi yenye tunaendeleza hapa hatuwezi tukafanya. Sasa tuko na siku 3 bila kufanya hapa kwa gravity, bila kumwagia watalii maji.
Mvua ilikuwa kubwa sana, that's why after mvua kunyesha kulikuwa na that landslide, na ndio maana mawe ambayo ilikuwa haikuwa imejishikilia vizuri ndio ikaslide kwa barabara ambayo ingeleta maafa, lakini Mungu ni wa ajabu, alizuia na ikaanguka mahali ambapo ilikuwa safe. So we are doing construction with our engineers at KENHA, na ndio tunafanya ukarabati ndio hii barabara iweze kufunguka.
Sasa usafiri hapa Kaloleni imekuwa shida. Watu wanatoka Kangundo, wana Mitaboni, wanapitia Mua, wanaenda Machakos. Wale wengine wanatoka pande ya Machakos, wanapitia Mua, wanarudi tena huko Kangundo. Kwa hivyo usafiri huko Kaloleni umekuwa shida kwa hawa.
Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and 8 other state officials have died in a helicopter crash. Iran's state news agency had earlier quoted local sources at the crash site in northwestern Iran, confirming the martyrdom of the president and his companions. The crash has shocked the world, fueling uncertainty at a time of increased tensions in the Middle East. President William Ruto has mourned the Iranian President Raisi as a fearless leader. The charred wreckage of the helicopter carrying Iran's President Raisi, his foreign minister and other senior officials was found early Monday after an overnight search in blizzard conditions. A total of 9 people, including the provincial governor, were on board when the aircraft came down on Sunday in a remote and mountainous region in Arasbaran forest near the border with Azerbaijan. President William Ruto has mourned the late President Raisi as a fearless leader and a dedicated public servant. In 2023, during a visit to Kenya, the late Iranian leader signed several MOUs with President William Ruto.
That God will return the president and fellow travelers to the people. The Iranian nation must not be worried.
We'll bring you a more comprehensive report of that in our subsequent bulletins. Take a short break on K24 Newscast. Much more still to come. Just stay with us.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter and WhatsApp.
Welcome back. Leaders of the United Democratic Party in Kilifi have taken decisive action to bolster the party's presence ahead of upcoming local leadership elections. Contrary to previous perceptions, they are debunking claims that Malindi and Kilifi are strongholds of UDA. Led by Abdul Rahman Omar, a former representative of a Ganda ward, the leaders emphasized their commitment to enrolling as many members as possible. The registration drive signals a proactive strategy by UDA leaders to strengthen their position in Kilifi County and secure their support for candidates in the forthcoming elections.
Bora iweke juu. Kuna mikakati mingi ambayo tunaomba kwamba ifikapo mwezi wa 8 tutakuwa tumetimiza mipango yetu ya uchaguzi wa grassroots wa chama cha UDA. Mipango yetu ni kwamba nataka watu wote katika Kilifi County, katika Malindi constituency, wote wawe registered UDA. UDA oye!
Na tuwaomba ama tutoa mwito kwa wale wenzetu vyama vingine. Chama tawala ni chama bora. Chama ambazo kwamba dereva wake ni daktari na ana maono na Kenya hii iende mbele, itoke pale ilipokuwa. So tuomba watu wote na tuhitaji watu wote waje katika chama cha UDA, tuunge mkono ili meli ama MV UDA iweze kutambaa. Na tunasema wacha ngoma.
Kwa hivyo tuko hapa kwa matayarisho na tunafurahia kwamba chama kimeweza kuachilia uhuru wa kila mmoja ambaye ni mwanachama cha UDA aweze kujitosa katika ulingo huu, katika mchuano huu. Tuko hapa kama Malindi constituency kutoka wadi mbalimbali, tumeweza kuwa na uwakilishaji na tumezungumza masuala ya chama, na wana Malindi wote kwa jumla wamesema wako tayari katika uchaguzi huu unaokuja.
Residents of Oldonyo Sebuk, straddling the border of Machakos and Kiambu counties, are voicing their frustration with the government's neglect following the destruction of a crucial bridge by floods a month ago. Forced to rely on boats to cross the overflowing River Athi, the residents express agitation over the daily challenges they face from accessing education to conducting business. Concerns deepen as the raging waters of River Athi pose risks to boat travel, prompting clergy members to hold prayers at the riverbanks, urging government intervention.
This bridge, which has been vital to us, was destroyed by the fury of the floods. This results to the following points: cutting off movements of goods and people. Number 2, students who are not schooling from either side are not able to attend school, and also teachers are affected. 3, business are at standstill more than 3 weeks from now.
Tuko na resort nyingi hii side, na hii side nyingine tuko na 14 falls, na tuko na site nyingi za tourism. Kwa hii side ya tourism tumeafektika sana mambo ya Kilimambogo imeafektika sana. So tumeomba serikali ifanye haraka itusaidie.
Ndio tunaomba kwamba hii daraja irekebishwe kama zile zingine, na hii barabara yetu tangu 2016 jameni tumaliziwe. Hicho ndio kilio chetu, kifike kwa wale ambao wanahusika, kikitoka kwa wananchi wote.
The Cabinet Secretary for Mining and Blue Economy, Salim Vuria, has revoked the licenses of 50 mining companies operating in Turkana County. Speaking in the county, the CS said the move will tighten the regulatory framework and weed out a non-compliance in the mining sector. His sentiments were echoed by Turkana County Governor Jeremiah Lomorukai, who hailed the move as a game changer.
This is green garnet. This is yellow. This is fire in agar. This is coltan.
We came here to announce the reforms, and I'm glad that we've agreed we'll work closely with the county government, even on matters licensing, We've already gazetted and trained the Artisanal Mining Committee for Turkana, which will be giving permits for small-scale mining activities, including quarrying. And all this we are doing so that we can harness the potential of the resources here. Before we share 20%, it must have been paid by the investor. So we have agreed that we need to close ranks so that we can deal with anybody who is doing illegal mining activities so that we can attract revenue as required.
It is now the right time. We get new companies that will be licensed by the national government and also the local artisans. Mining artisans in Turkana County will also be licensed so that the activities of doing illegal mining is brought to an end.
At least 6 institutions for learners with disabilities have benefited from the latest disbursement of checks worth 1.2 million shillings, adding to the earlier released sum of 11.9 million shillings. The National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya has a mandate of enhancing social and economic empowerment of persons with disabilities in the country through provision of mobility aids, rehabilitative equipment and vocational tools of trade. Speaking during the event in Nairobi, the chair of the Programs Committee, Professor Julia Ojiambo, says through the flagship program, which is anchored on the right to education of learners with disabilities, Nairobi region has benefited from a total of 14 projects in various special schools and units worth 35 million shillings.
That integrate normal learning and special needs learning students or pupils. We also, in those institutions, include even adults, especially serving the institutions. Those also during the year express their concerns, bring their needs to us, requests, and we sort them out. And we also bring to them the little support we can, because we cannot meet all the requests. Totally, we get a lot of requests. We get, for instance, for those individual ones that I have mentioned, up to about 10,000 applications per year.
We have an enrollment of 189 learners. All of them are intellectually challenged and autistic. And I really appreciate the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya because they were able to put up a perimeter wall so that we could be able to put these children inside the school. Otherwise, it was a great order to maintain the children in school without a perimeter wall, and especially the hyperactive children who normally disappear from school.
But operators have called on the county government of Embu to speed up the inspection of premises so that those affected by the closure in the recent government crackdown of illicit brew can resume their business. Embu County Bar Owners Association Chair Abraham Kikovi says the county is at risk of losing revenue if they continue closing down their businesses, a move that has dealt a big blow to the business sector. His sentiments were reiterated by the association secretary Tara Tisio Kawe, who urged members to desist operating near schools to avoid being in loggerheads with the authorities.
Tungeuliza watu ya inspection immediately waanze kuinspect hizo clubs ili watu waruhusiwe kufanya hiyo kazi. Wale watu ambao club zao hazikukubaliwa ni watu zaidi ya 800 within Embu County. Wale walikubaliwa ni kama 1000. Na hiyo ni kutoa watu kwa biashara na sio mzuri. Uchumi ya county ya Embu itaenda chini kama watu wengine watafungua kilabu zao na wauzi pombe mbaya. Namba ya pili, hao watu wakifungiwa hawatakuwa na kazi ya kufanya.
Kuna sheria ya county. Sheria ya county inasema hata kama distance si mrefu, kukiwa na ukuta na kukiwa na zile tunaita barriers katikati ya shule na vilabu, hiyo vilabu zinatakiwa sipitishwe. Lakini tukasema kama kuna mmoja wetu ambaye atafanya biashara ambaye itasumbua shule ama anahusia watoto, huyo hatutakuwa pamoja na yeye. Sisi tunafanya kazi tukiwa kama simu moja na tutakuwa na self regulation. Ndio county government nao wawe wanatusikiza. Lakini hiyo si kusema ati tukiwa injured ama tukivinyiriwa kwa ukuta hatuwezi enda koti.
Small-scale farmers in Kericho County are embracing vertical farming as a means of increasing food production. The model, which is in line with the government's agenda, seeks to boost production with the ever-reducing sizes of land. Speaking during the launch of a water project in Soin-Sigowet constituency, Agriculture PS Paul Rono assured farmers of the government's support in terms of fertilizer and seedlings.
Knowing that Kenya is growing in population and our population numbers is going higher, it is a threat to our farming areas, especially our farm, what we call the arable land, is getting depleted and smaller because of our population growth. And this new model of Mama Kitchen Garden will really assist us as a country and as a ministry to optimize on our resources, especially land, which is a limited resource. The structure of this model is to identify a small area of land, and then you put up the model as you have seen, staggered soil, and then we'll provide water at the same time some tanks so that the farmers, especially smallholder farmers, are able to get water during rain when there is no rain. At the same time, we'll ensure that we also provide seed and seedlings for the farmers and all the farm inputs. And what's important is a training, capacity building, so that we get these small-scale farmers being in a position to take this new model of farming.
This is an initiative under Beatrice Kemei Foundation that we felt like in our place, the land is very small. And if we call this vertical farming, many of our women will have that land, many of our women will have the vegetable, and they will be able to sell and have something in their pockets. We are supporting the government agenda of the PETA. And we are happy that they will also be empowered. Through PS, they are going to get seeds and seedlings of coffee, of tea, maybe even other products.
And that's all we had prepared for you on K24 Newscut. For more information, do log on to our website and www.k24tv.co.ke. My name is Michelle Ngele Odhiambo. Good afternoon.